you or whatever. My mom wouldn't like that. Second of all, I love you, and I want your dick in and around my mouth. That's what happens.
Toru really just showed her ferocity in that scene. Like she popped off.
And then Joe has to go and be all self-destructive, being like, yeah, you don't know.
Hello, 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 everyone. Guess what? It's another AOQ episode. It's episode 13, and we're doing something very, very special. By the way, also, it's the Anime Summit podcast. Obviously, if you didn't know that, then I don't know what you're doing. But with me, I'm Danny, and with me, I have Sam.
Hey, hey, hey.
How you doing, babe?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. And we have Earthworm from the Anime Brothers.
Hello.
Yeah, Earthworm.
What's going on?
Yay me.
Anime Brothers podcast, let's go.
And for the very first time, my best friend, Melika.
Hi.
Hey, I'm so happy you're here, Mel. This is so exciting.
Yes, I'm so nervous.
It's okay. It's okay.
She's a newbie booby.
First time jitters, you'll be fine. And then after this episode, you'll be a pro.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, so you all are probably wondering, okay, where's Nick? Well, first of all, fuck Nick. We don't need him. No, that's
anytime
that's
there's not a host, we just talk shit right away.
You have to. It's like kind of like a tradition in a way.
That's like you have to do it like that, or else it doesn't.
You
count.
have to, yeah, or else it's not right.
It's like a roast, but you're not there, and it's mean.
Yeah.
But you all are probably wondering why we're doing an AOQ. Well, I will tell you. Recently, this past spring, Fruits Basket has finally ended on its final and third season. And there has been a lot of talk about it. So much so that for, I want to say at least maybe like 3 hours or so, it was on the #1 spot on my anime list. So, but then all the trolls were all like, no, we can't have a shoujo as #1.
Right.
Those fucking douchebags. But yeah, so, I mean, I even went on Earthworm's podcast on Anime Brothers, and we talked about Fruits Basket and everything like that, and I cordially invited him on this little episode to talk more about Fruba and why we love it and why it's the best anime of all time. So, and of course, I mean, I invited my best friend Mel because she and I always talk about Fruits Basket and how much we love it and everything like that. So I figured this would be a really good opportunity to just really focus on a specific show. And I'm hoping to do more of these because I think they're fun to just actually, I mean, like our seasonals are great and you know, we talk about everything that we watched, but I definitely, appreciate the single-handed, like, just focus on one show type of episodes.
I think also because people think that when we do seasonal reviews, we like review all like the shows in that season at one time very quickly, and it's nice to show one show appreciation.
Right.
Because, and I think more, I've gotten comments like that before, like, hey, like, are you ever going to do a review on this show? And it's like, well, technically we did, you know, in our summer review 19, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I think specifically for Fruits Basket, it's just also because, like, it's kind of one of the first anime, like, me and Danny bonded over when we met. And also, I only watched the original at the time, you know, and I never finished the manga. Danny was kind of the the person who like did it all, right? Who watched it, read it.
Oh
and all
yeah,
that stuff.
I watched the original. I watched the Dean Studio version. I read the manga.
And I never read it, so like a lot of this
yeah.
stuff like was first time for me, and I was like,
Yeah.
girl,
yeah.
no. And so I think I think once in a while when a show like this comes along and you guys want to hear like a focused review of it, even when it's coming up on a season or whatever, then let us know, and you know, we'll totally do it. And also just because like it's got a perfect timing, because this week in a couple days you'll hear our spring review finally out, and then we can just refer you to like this episode when it gets to it. But that being said, it fucking will be spoilers. So
Oh yeah, this is
a full on review.
This is a full on review. This is, like I said, I mean, we'll touch on the first 2 seasons, but typically like we're probably and most likely are going to be talking about the 3rd season, the final season. So if you haven't watched any of it, do not listen to this if you don't like spoilers. Watch everything and then come back to this episode, because we are definitely going to be spoiling a lot on what happens,
right,
and stuff. So but on that note, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Boom, check that out. links.animesummit.net is where you can find us. Earthworm, before we start, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me and the Anime Brothers podcast anywhere you get podcasts. Just search us up in the search bar. Yeah, please check us out. Like Danny said, we have an episode covering Fruits Baskets 2019 season 1 and 2, and I get to ask Danny a bunch of questions, as like Sam mentioned, someone who's consumed all things Fruits Basket. So I got schooled. It was fun. Yeah, check it out. Me and JD, new episode every Monday.
Sweet. And Melika, where can we find your lovely face?
You can catch me on Instagram at the Scorpio Sting. You'll see a lot of like design elements, fashion elements, but also anti-imperialist mass activist work for a grassroots organization called Gabriela Los Angeles. So I focus primarily on Filipino working class and migrant rights. And
Yes.
I'm based in LA.
Yes.
That's
awesome. That's
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
I love reading all that stuff that you post on Instagram. It's
Thank
great.
you. It's like me screaming into the void.
You gotta. That's just how you do it. But before we get to Waifu and Husbando, Melika, since this is your first time as a guest on Anime Summit, what is your 111, which is an anime you like, an anime you love, and an anime you hate?
Okay, so here we go. I know what's gonna happen, but okay. So an anime that I like is Princess Jellyfish.
Yes.
Love Princess Jellyfish. An anime that I love is Paradise Kiss. It's so special.
Yes.
Every time I watch it, I just, it feels really good to watch it.
Yeah, we
And
actually
then
did it.
an
We actually did a review on that one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
gotta check
I did
that
not
out.
appreciate that the first time around. Like, I learned to appreciate it over time. Like, and I love it. It's super good.
Yeah. There's something magical about that world. And then an anime that I hate is Peach Girl. And I absolutely deplore it. I think it is vapid, and it's absolutely garbage. It's flaming hot garbage.
But that's the whole
Just
point.
a big old hunk of piece of poopy.
That's the whole point,
Nah.
though. It's trash, and that's why it's good.
Even Danny says it.
It did not age well, girl. It did not age well.
I don't care. It's Jerry Springer
They should have
drama.
a Confederate flag on that anime.
It's so funny though. It's so funny. I like it. I don't care what anyone says. I like Peach Girl. I thought it was hilarious.
I think it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
All right.
I love it.
Point
I
of
love
differentiation.
I love it. It's fine. I still love you. It's okay.
It's okay. It's fine.
Sam, you wanna tell us who Waifu and Husbando is for today?
Let's go. Waifu is Toru Honda because like literally. Come on.
Who can hate her?
Come on.
Like, come on.
Yeah, what's your problem?
Everyone loves her. Everyone wants to waifu her up.
Right?
She's like.
She's so pure.
There's something, and I just without getting too much into it, because I'm sure we'll talk more about it later. It's just like when you love somebody, and I'm not saying everyone's love is different, but like I think for me personally, when I love somebody, and when I want somebody to love me, I would want them to love me for my perfections and imperfections, and that's literally the way she loves, and that's just like, woo!
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. And then Husbando is Kureno Soma, the dedicated man.
Yes.
Kureno Soma. And
the underdog.
The underdog.
Love him.
He tries so hard to just live his life and do the best he can for whatever it is he's doing. And he does it in loneliness, and that is just like horrible. It's just
literally. I mean, it's like what Uo-chan says. Like, Kureno is the male version of Toru.
Pretty much.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, you remind me of somebody, and it's just like,
yeah.
It's because the way he does it. You know what I mean? And it's not like he forces himself, but he kind of does.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference, is because, like, Toru kind of learns it as she goes, where he kind of learns it all at one time.
All at once. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, there you go. Waifu and Husbando right there.
Waifu and Husbando. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get it. Let's get to it. We're not gonna do question of the week. We'll save that for our seasonals.
Okay, here, wait. I got one. I got a question.
Oh, okay.
What is your favorite opening?
Oh,
of
a Fruits Basket?
Because there was 3 seasons, they had 3 openings. So.
Well, technically...
Or no, did they have 4? I don't remember.
There's 4, because the first season got 2 OPs.
That's right, because the first season was 20-some episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's hard. All of them are good. I loved all of them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if I had to pick one, it honestly, it probably would be Pleasure, which is the final season OP.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. 100%.
I just love, I loved the second opening of the first season, like with the umbrellas and everything. It was so happy. I loved it.
Oh, there's 5 openings, because season 2 was also 2 parts.
Oh, season 2. Oh, that's right. Season 2 did have 2. Yeah.
I think Prism from season 2 is my favorite, or the last one, which is Pleasure by Warms Up.
Yeah. I just love
Warps Up. Sorry.
The visual, it's just so visually appealing, and I love how they decided to go with the characters being animated, but they're in an actual building kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it just really sets the tone for the final season.
Yeah.
And just the overall movement of each sequence in that blends really well, and you can really feel you can feel how emotional this season is going to be. It's a foreshadowing of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah. Absolutely.
What about you, JD?
No, Earthworm. Earthworm.
Sorry,
Earthworm.
JD sucks. JD sucks.
Oh, man. I guess.
I was just looking at their podcast list just now, so I was like, wait a second.
That's okay. Yeah, I'd probably agree with y'all as far as the latest OP goes, but musically, I do remember the first OP standing out to me because it was so different than every other anime OP that's usually fairly upbeat or has a little groove to it, but this just felt like a love song, just a real slow dance song, nice and chill, like just hold your partner and cry or don't, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I remember that sticking out to me.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Melika, are you still in agreement with us, or did you want to like highlight?
No, I really liked Pleasure, which was the final OP. I really do love how Akito has a moment in it where she's just wrapped everyone in this rope, and that just really exemplifies what her relationship to these people are and how tethered they feel. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the final season's OP.
Awesome. Sweet. Cool. All right. Well, let's get started. Let's grab your tissues, guys, because this was an emotional roller coaster.
So real quick, I think just real quick to summarize, like the plot summary is at the end everyone dies. No, I'm just kidding. But like
Stop. That's dreadful and traumatic.
No, the synopsis is there's a girl named Toru, and she's always been fascinated with the story of the Chinese zodiac that her mom used to tell her about as a child. When sudden tragedy befalls her, which is her mom passing away, her like living circumstances get screwed up a little bit, so she's kind of living in a tent. And she doesn't realize that her tent is on the private property of the house family belonging to Shigure. Yeah. And Shigure is a Soma, who's part of the Soma family, and also living with him is Yuki, who is dubbed the Prince at her high school, the Untouchable Prince. Super fine as wine, very handsome. I want his babies.
May I share one baby with you?
Yes, you may.
Okay, thank you. We will throuple.
Hey, you two. Hey, you two. Hey, you two. That's Machi's man. You're talking about.
And then Kyo moves in, and then she realizes, oh shit. And then Shigure is like, dude, you're not gonna fucking live in a tent, okay? Just live with us. It'll be fine. And then you kind of hear something like along the lines of, oh, is Akito, the head of the Soma family, going to be okay with this? Like, he has to get permission. And it turns out it's okay. And basically it follows the daily lives of Toru and the Soma family living in this house. Of course, this is not like the actual family estate that they're at. This is like a house separate from that. But as long, Toru wants to keep going to school there, and at first it's temporary until her grandfather gets their new house renovated and whatever. And then, it just kind of follows her living there and her getting to know the Soma family as each episode goes on.
And the Soma family also has a curse.
And the curse, she finds out about the Soma family curse. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. That's like the biggest part of it. Is whenever a Soma family member who's affected by a zodiac curse or a zodiac spirit hugs somebody of the opposite gender, they turn into the animal of the spirit they are.
Or so, like, if Yuki they come induced with a number amount of stress, they also transform.
Yeah, and stress happens. Yeah, stress does it too. So Yuki's like the rat, Shigure's the dog face, and then Kyo happens to be the 13th, which is the cat, which is like there's like a tail about the 13th zodiac, the cat or whatever. So as Toru lives with them day by day, she finds out more and more about the family, more about the curse and how it affects the family and their traditions and things like that. And it's this big thing, and it becomes a wild ride from there on out, pretty much. So, yeah.
Yeah, so just like short, brief, kind of like opinions on how we felt about the announcement of this reboot for everybody. Or, I mean, Earthworm, I'm probably...
I will sit back and listen during here, because I just decided to watch it after 2 seasons were out. I was like, hey, let's give this a shot.
Yeah. You shonen schmuck.
Honestly, it's funny because we would have ended up watching My Love Story if there was a dub. But me and my partner were looking for something to watch, and I could not have been
My Love
happier.
Story has a dub?
Not on Hulu.
Oh.
Yeah, we when we were looking, I didn't have access to Funimation.
You gotta get Verve then, because it's on Verve.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone yell at Earthworm.
I've been saying it for like over a year now. I'm gonna cancel my Crunchyroll and get Verve, and here I am.
Oh, you should totally do that, because like this is now a Verve podcast.
I think this happens every time we do a collab, Danny.
Yeah.
You need to
but literally
It's
Verve
like a sponsorship.
has everything. This is not sponsored, by the way. Verve has High Dive and Crunchyroll. Like, you don't need to just have Crunchyroll. Like, that's it. It's
You don't need to suffer.
You don't need to suffer anymore. You have everything in the palm of your hands.
I was really excited because I do a newscast on our podcast every week, and when I heard the announcement or saw it when I was looking through the news, I was like, oh, sweet. I'm on an anime podcast. I don't have time to read this right now, and I can just watch this, and it'll be just as good. And it was... Then they said they were going to have all the same voice actors, Japanese and English.
Nope.
And...
No.
Oh, they didn't have all the same Japanese actors?
No. Fuck, what the hell is her name? Shit. Natsuki Takaya, she did not want the original voice cast from the Studio Dean version. She wanted everything new. Everything new.
So all the Japanese cast is different?
Japanese cast is all new cast.
I thought they were the same.
No, the only thing that's the same is the dub cast.
Oh, okay. Well, that's still just as good.
With some altercations, being as with Kisa Soma and Hiro Soma in the Studio Dean version for the dub cast, they were voiced by actual children. And obviously those children are grown up now. One being Aaron Demsnick, who he's actually in this, and he plays the vice president of the student council. So, and
what a fun
also,
fact.
Yeah, fun fact, right? Also, Saki Hanajima and Arisa Uotani are both different voice actors from the original.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Sorry, Fruits Basket nerd over here.
Anyway, I was really excited regardless because I could just watch it and then finish the story that way because at the time I did not have time to add another manga to my backlog of manga that I'm reading right
now. Mel, what did you think about when you heard that Fruits Basket was getting a reboot?
I was so excited because I found that the original version was unsatisfactory, and that I felt like Akito's character wasn't as fleshed out as it is in this version, in the reboot. And I felt like I wanted to see more of the relationship between Kyo and Toro develop, but you don't really see that. You don't get that in the first round of it.
Yeah. Also, to be fair, like back then, they tricked you to reading the manga anyway. So that's why, well, at least this is not confirmed. It's just a theory of mine.
Marketing.
But
sounds like a marketing
it's like,
ploy.
Yeah, it's a marketing strategy. Like, I mean, they did the same thing with frickin' Ouran High School Host Club. Like, that ending was fine, but like there was still more to be added. And it's the same thing with Fruits Basket. So, yeah, I was super excited about this. I literally was on Twitter all the time looking to see like who was going to voice who. Particularly, I was mainly focusing more on the English cast versus the Japanese cast, because I grew up on the dub over the sub. So when I found out that they were bringing back Jerry Jewell as Kyo Soma and Laura Bailey as Toru and everyone else, I was super excited, and I was also really stoked that this was going to be a full-fledged, like, beginning to end story, and we get to really get down to the nitty-gritty portions of the show, especially with Akito. And, you know, we also get to actually see the relationship between Toru and Kyo, and even Yuki as well, like, because Yuki also had feelings for Toru, but alas, that ended up not happening and everything like that. So, but he does have a happy ending as well. But yeah.
But now the question is, did he really like Toru? I mean, Toru, did he actually love her in that way? Because
No.
I feel like no.
I mean, I feel like in the end, he realized that the love that he had for her wasn't like a romantic love. It was more of a mother figure type of love.
I think he couldn't really
what it was.
I think he couldn't really identify what sort of affection he had for her, but I don't think that he felt like it was something more on the romantic end.
Yeah.
I feel that. I think it's tough, especially for a kid in high school, because I know, like, at least I don't want to speak for everybody, but a lot of people aren't taught, like, it's okay to love people in a billion different ways. You can love everybody. Most of it's just shown as, like, you love your family, you love your significant other, and you like your friends. So I can see him, I mean, if Kyo wasn't there, he probably would have ended up in a relationship with Toru, and it wouldn't have been as special. It might have blown up years down the road, who knows.
That's really interesting.
And also too, I think the lack of affection from his family is just kind of
true.
Yes.
Right.
He didn't know.
Yeah, so he didn't know how to show his love and affection for somebody, because he didn't know how. And he didn't know how to express it because he was told to act a certain way because he was the rat. He was the first animal in the Chinese zodiac, so he had to act a certain way because of his title and everything like that, and he hated that.
Yeah,
So-
it's interesting because that's a really good point, because like there's that common theme in this show where there's like the roles assigned to these characters through their zodiac forms, but then their humanity is what makes them want to move away from it. And you see that in Yuki, and you also see that in Akito, where like they're assigned these roles, like the rat who's the first to win, but Yuki feels incredibly alienated from everyone else because he's supposed to assume this personality of being the winner, when in reality he's probably the most insecure of them all.
Right. Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like you definitely throughout, I mean, Earthworm, you never saw the Studio Dean version,
No.
correct? Okay.
I did not.
Yeah. Okay. So, obviously season 1 of the readaptation is pretty much solid of what kind of happens in the original. So obviously myself, Sam, and Melka already know like how Yuki is portrayed. But it's really actually close to the second season where you kind of see more of like a character development within Yuki, especially towards his brother and what happens at the parent-teacher conference. I just want to point that out that scene with Yuki's mother, how she cannot handle Ayame is like chef's kiss kind of thing.
That's the scene that made me really turn around on Ayame. Before that, I was like, he's kind of annoying. I don't know about this guy. But after that, it was like, yes, okay, I see what you were going for.
It's so great. And Ayame is the only one out of like Yuki's family where Ayame is all like, I was wrong to exile Yuki, so here I am trying to make up for that and stuff. And Yuki realized that too. Like he even said it out loud, like in front of Ayame, and says, I may not understand him, but at least I know he's trying.
Yeah, I think Ayame really wants to be that point of healing in their family unit. But definitely overcompensates with his antics.
And I love it. It's so good.
It's charming.
It's great. I love it. Yeah. So that's definitely a great moment for character development and growing for a character. Same thing with Toru. I know, like, through the grapevine, I think Earthworm, you even said that you were a little concerned about Toru, and how you may have thought that she wasn't getting enough character development. Like you felt like that she was too pure. I could be wrong.
It's more so that I felt like it was really going to catch up to her, especially throughout season 1. You saw she was always doing everything for everybody else and giving herself no self-care, it seemed like. So I figured at some point that was going to kind of break her, but it didn't turn out how I thought it was going to. But she started, you kind of learned why she was so prim and proper, and I like that it gave the backstory of she was really trying to replicate how her dad was to make her mom happy, and it all goes back to the doing for others before you do for yourself.
Yeah. And I think instead of letting it break her, what they wrote was, the way they wrote her development was, instead of letting it break her, it just kind of bit her in the butt a little bit.
Yep.
To kind of snap her back into like, hey, I am not your mom. Like, you don't have to, you can say how you feel kind of thing. Because, like, the whole first season, right, I would say the whole kind of, like, premise of the first season is her adjusting to, like,
her living situation.
The situation and living with the Somas and meeting a new Soma, like, every couple episodes or whatever. Yep. And then, the love triangle between her, Kyo, and Yuki, right, because that's how you think it is for a little bit. But, like, the way she takes care of everyone, whether it's her two BFFs, which is Uo and Hanajima, it's like, and then how she cares for Yuki and Shigure, and there's even times where she's like not home, and they're just like, oh man, Toru's not here, so like there's no one to make dinner, like what should we eat tonight or whatever.
What do we do with ourselves?
Yeah,
it's a lost cause.
Yeah. It's so fucking funny, and like. I think kind of Earthworm kind of hit it on the head there, and also just like, it's you find out that it's not something super crazy, but like, it does bite her in the butt a little bit, because like she let her feelings go on for like under a rock for a long time, and then she probably could have saved some people. I'll wait to get there, but like Kyo and Yuki, let's say, she probably could have saved them some time, or maybe she probably could have had them come face to face with their troubles earlier, But honestly, like, when you think about the whole thing again, the way everything went down is just fine. Like, you wouldn't do it over again. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, like, Sam, would you fucking do 11th grade the same way, or would you change something? No, I wouldn't change it, because I am how I am now because of whatever happened in that year. You know what I mean? So, like,
Right.
yeah. But no, I think JD or Earthworm, fucking A, dude.
Who
Earthworm.
am I?
I need to get okay, hold on. We're gonna click off of the Anime Brothers Discord because I'm looking at like the announcements. I keep seeing JD's name announcing everything. My bad. JD, you suck. I love you, but you suck. You're not here because that's why you suck. Okay, so, but I think Earthworm nailed it on the head there. And I think that's another reason why her character's so great.
I think this is going to be a really polarizing opinion, but I really I could not stand Toru for like the first season. But I continued to watch it primarily because I was interested to see where it would go. And what really captivated me was the final episode. But yeah, my first impression of Toru was that she was just bypassing through life, like emotionally bypassing a lot of the things that were going on in her life. And it made me question, like, okay, like, this could be a result of trauma. And it's interesting because I think that the third season really ties it all, like, it brings it home because, you know, Momichi has the story of like that nomad who every character takes a piece of that person and then it's only just like a floating head left. And I was on the edge of my seat waiting for that to happen to Toru, but I'm glad it didn't because it's explained in the third season that the only reason why she was acting like that was so that she could feel like she's deserving of her mother's love. Because if she didn't act like her father, she felt like she would not get the love that she wanted from her mother. And that was the only way she could receive it. So I think that's what made Toru so much more of a complex character to me. Because if I didn't know that element, I would just think she was just like such a Mary Sue, you know, bypassing through the whole series.
Yeah. I mean, I could totally understand your perspective on that because it's true, like, especially in the first season, you know, you don't really see the despair that you see in the later, at least close to the end of season 2 into the beginning of season 3, more heavily so in season 3. Although you do see some concern in season 1, especially when it comes to Kyo's true form. Because if you remember, Toru was actually pretty terrified of Kyo's true form. And that wasn't like, you know, her just saying that just because, like, that was her genuinely, you know, being afraid. But she knew that if she didn't run after Kyo for that, Kyo wouldn't have come back. So in that whole thing, like, Toru made Kyo a better person and be more accepting of his true form, even though he has that traumatic past. And that's why, you know, I love Toru through and through. I mean, also I did read the manga, so I understand her personality from beginning to end with this readaptation and everything like that. But it was just, it was so thrilling to see her worries, like her being in a panic, especially in the third season when she actually finds out that Akito is a woman.
Yeah, that's refreshing.
And she's all and Kurano tells her, you know, the older Zodiac members like Hattori, Ayame, and Shigure, they know that Akito is a woman. Everyone else after them, you know, they only know Akito as a man. So here is this huge secret that she is she's afraid to tell. And she can't talk to Shigure about it because it's an awkward situation. And even Shigure actually said that too when it was in the very first episode when she was making the like paper mache flowers, and Shigure comes over and says, "Oh, can I help? Can I take one and stuff?" And they're just sitting there, and Toru's all trying to like, I want to ask him, but I'm afraid it's an awkward situation. And she runs away and is all like, "Oh, tea, let me go get you something to drink." So, and then even Shigure is all like, yeah, I mean, I could totally understand her reaction right now. This is like a really hard topic to talk about. So just to actually see that animated and literally all 13 episodes, to finally see it in action like it was for me as from reading it literally brought me to tears. Literally. Like ugly crying.
There was a lot of tears shed.
Oh God, like after I want to say like after episode 5, dude, like I would cry myself to sleep, like, or I would actually need a minute before I would go to sleep so that, and like wash my face so that I wouldn't wake up with puffy eyes. Yeah, no, like I love this readaptation. I love Fruits Basket.
So much heart.
Through and through.
Like, I'm definitely not a crier by nature, but this show definitely made me cry like a baby. Made me cry like a baby.
It's so great. It's so great. But one thing I did actually want to point out, so I watched the dub for this, and for the final season, they had episode 0, and episode 0 was kind of like, it was pretty much episode 1, except at the end of the episode, they had a like quote unquote, like Funimation had like a quote unquote final message from the cast, and there was the VA who voiced Akito, Kiyosoma, Yuki Soma, Kurono, and Isuzu, and they all had there was like questions that they were asked and everything, and what fans should expect of the final season. And it was like super heartwarming to see that, especially at least for Jerry Jewell, who is the voice of Kyo, to see him, still have that like heart and soul for Kyo, and like, he's like, Kyo's my man. Like he may be a dumb, hard-headed, hot-headed tsundere, but like he's my boy kind of thing. And also, Sam, you would appreciate this. This is actually really funny. I wrote it down. There was a question for the cast and what they were hoping to see in the final season. And Kurono's voice actor said he was hoping for more mechas in the show.
That's great.
It was pretty hilarious. I was like, I laughed out loud at that.
It's funny.
So, and I don't know why I completely missed episode 0 for all of that. I have no recollection of that in my memory. So that thing was definitely really nice to see. To see the voice actors like just talk about these characters that they played, and even actually the VA for Kurono, he actually said that the moment where Kurono tells Toru that Akito is a woman in that park, and Akito actually is crying, apparently he was also crying. So that whole like crying scene for Kurono was totally genuine and everything. So that was like pretty fucking awesome. Yeah.
I love that they captured the authentic reactions.
It's so great. I loved it. I can't speak for the sub. I know, Sam, you watched the sub.
Yeah, I did. I like the sub a lot. I like the dub too. I rewatched some episodes in the dub, and the dub is pretty good. So I think it's a definitely either or kind of show. Mm-hmm. What I think is great is like, so like on Mal, it's like it's like a slice of life comedy, drama, romance, shoujo, whatever, with an add of supernatural, which is fine. This is your, I mean, it's your, I wouldn't say, I would say it's less slice of life than your average slice of life, you know, because obviously there's an overarching thing. Mm-hmm. But like the romance comedy part is definitely like the perfect like definition for the show, I think, and
especially in the third season for sure.
Right, and when you have romance and comedy put together, there's going to be drama. So, but like I think for the first season, it was a great introduction to everything, and while you were being introduced to everyone else, you were learning more about Toru, Kyo, and Yuki. And then the second season is kind of like, all right, let's start peeling these things back now and see what we can find. And then there was like that the beach arc, which is like 2 or 3 episodes. Mm-hmm. Where they go to the summer vacation home, the beach home.
Yeah.
The Soma beach home. And that part was just crazy because like that's like Akito coming face to face with Toru for like the second or third time, and yeah. So Akito's whole thing, like it wasn't explained yet, but Akito's whole thing is, as the head of the household, as the head of the Soma family, they are just lonely. They're a lonely person, and they don't want anyone to leave the Soma estate. Like, Yuki was able to go to the school with Toru that he goes to, and Kyo, because Akito is like trying to play a game. Like, Akito is just kind of like, whatever, they'll come back to me. They always come back to me.
Yeah, I have a bond with them.
Yeah. And if you think of like a very insecure, possessive person, that is like Akito. And so, but not with just one person, with everybody in the Soma family who has the curse. And so, except for Kyo, really, because Kyo is like, because they're the cat, or the curse of the cat, they're technically supposed to be like, by the time they turn 18, they're supposed to be locked up or whatever. And so a lot of that stuff kind of comes to a head in that beach part in season 2. So that's when the show really, not that the parts before this were...
Well, that's where you actually really see, like, I wouldn't say the motive of Akito, but like you really start to see the mischievousness and Akito's plan in this whole game.
Yeah.
That she's playing. So
yeah. I think that was definitely a turning point.
Yeah, and so not that the parts before the beach part were bad, because everything was pretty good before then, but like this is like what Malika said, the turning point of when things start rolling and you start finding things out as more and more episodes start coming out and stuff, and you find out more about Kurano and more about what is her name? The horse. Izumi? Isuzu, yeah. Isuzu Soma, the horse, which shout out to her because I am the year of the horse. I think
I'm the year of the horse too.
Yeah, anyone born in 90 is a horse. Earth, when were you born? What year were you born?
I am the dog. I was 94.
Oh, Shigure.
Yes.
Oh, Dogface Johnson.
And I'm just a monkey.
Oh, Ritsu!
The monkey doesn't get enough love in the show.
Oh, I know, but it's okay.
Yeah, why do I not remember who the monkey was? Why is that just-
Ritsu.
Okay,
The panicky. I'm so
Yes.
sorry.
Because you only get to you only get to see them change like once or twice in season 1,
And then
after
gone.
that, Ritsu's just Ritsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite change reveal was Kagura.
Oh,
Yeah, because the newspaper boy comes, and then Yuki like shoves him away, and
so
Yuki
like,
puts on the charm.
thanks. Thanks
Completely
for the
turns
newspaper.
this
And
kid
he's like,
completely
oh, sorry,
gay.
I'm late. Okay, bye.
Yeah, he totally turns this kid gay, and this kid's like, "Oh, how charming!" He's like, "How can I help you?" The way they animate it is like he slides away, like they just shrink his, with computer animation, just shrink his form, So he just is going,
yeah.
he's like, "Okay, bye," and then Shigure's like, "Nice save,"
Yeah.
and Toru picks up Kagura, and she's like, "Shigure, I figured out what Kagura was." He's like,
He's
"I don't know if this really counts as you figuring it out." But
think-
so after the beach part, that's when things get kind of crazy. And,
I'm so with you on that. I
Yeah.
100% agree that that whole, I guess that whole beach thing, it showed that the show has darker elements to it. There is a darkness to all these characters. I especially appreciate discovering more about Akito's motives, and I think Akito's the best antagonist, but also my favorite character. And you really see Akito's character fleshed out more in this reboot, and it brings out more of the complexity of her character. And it's interesting because at one point I thought that Akito was the closest thing to a gender fluid character in Fruits Basket. However, I recognize that Akito, the god, is gender fluid. Akito the human wants to be a woman, and she wants to embrace that repressed femininity because her role as the zodiac god is what isolates her from that choice. And it's interesting because
And she didn't even have a choice for that.
Yeah.
When and that also leads into the relationship she has with her mother. She despises Ren. And for all I know, Ren can go eat a pile of dog shit. I fucking hate that woman.
Even from her father, there really was no relief because it was golden child syndrome.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can do nothing wrong. You're perfect.
You're
everybody
special.
loves you. Even if people want to know when they mess up, that helps them grow. But if you're told every time, you're perfect, don't worry about it. Everybody will love you no matter what you do. You kind of turn out like Akito did. Very, very possessive. Why aren't you happy about what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Definitely. I love how Fruits Basket also discusses the unhealthy cords of attachment, and that's really illustrated in the rope imagery of the series. And all the somas are linked to Akito. That's the unhealthy cord of attachment. But you have Toro. I keep saying her name wrong. Toru. She has an unhealthy attachment to her deceased mother.
Yep.
Yes.
And we see there's so many different layers of these attachments, and how these characters as a result turned out. And even with Momichi and his mother, it's really sad, the relationship there. And that
my boy, my
Yeah.
sweet boy.
Right?
yeah, it's interesting because they really do explore these unhealthy cords of attachment, and every single character has one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of trying to touch on earlier, was Akito being kind of possessive or whatever. And the thing is of course they don't reveal the way the curse starts until the end of the show, the very second to last or last episode. They don't reveal until how the curse started. But
So good.
yeah, it's so good. But you kind of don't know which family member Akito is until that beach part, and that's when it's revealed that it's like, no, Keto's the god.
Yeah.
Like the god that brings all the animals together.
Yep.
And so, on its face, on the surface, the curse is getting hugged by the opposite gender and then turning into a dog-faced Johnson. But really, the curse has developed over time into being put in a box and then being lonely because of it. It's weird because you were cursed with 12, 13 of your other family members, except you were so fucking alone. Mm-hmm. Until Toru comes along and goes, why does it have to be like that? I don't
understand. Yeah.
I don't understand. Because my mom is gone, and I don't really care for my extended family members, but you, Shigure, Yuki, and Kyo have never made me feel alone. Nor has, Hanajima or Uotani-san. Like,
yeah.
They've never made me feel like that, even though, my family sucks. Like, it's just, and so, like, it's kind of like, if you've ever seen The Breakfast Club, right?
Yes, my favorite
the
movie.
Fucking,
Your fave, Danny.
The one character that you think isn't the one that brings them all together is the one that brings them all together, and that's John Bender.
Yes.
So Toru kind of just slides in that role on her own, and you kind of predict that she's going to, but like, yeah, the curse has developed into something way worse at this point. It's developed into isolation and trauma and tradition that is so archaic and disgusting. Could you imagine? Like, it's just like, I think that's a big theme of like some of the archaic traditions that have made its way to today's time through loopholes, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that. Mm-hmm. And it's disgusting. Because you're thinking, how could you do this to family? Right? And Toru is, while blood family are being shitty to each other, Toru is being loving to people who aren't her blood family. Mm-hmm. It's very polar opposite. It's very Toru versus the Soma estate. After that beach part especially. And it just becomes this big battle of, you can either let me love them where they'll be happy, or I can let you, or you can win and you love them, but they'll be unhappy because of the way you're loving them. And it's because Aikido's idea of love is, I'm never going to leave your side if you never leave mine, kind of thing.
Right.
Which is
right.
possessive.
So, like,
and horrible.
You can't leave me. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's all because of this fucking archaic tradition, this curse. And it doesn't have to be that way. The curse is not making them stay there. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And they just go along with it.
That's exactly what Momiji says. Like when they were talking about dreams and stuff like that and what they want to do after graduation. And, Momiji said, my dream is so that I can be a professional musician, and what I want to have is a private concert for my family. But he flat out says, but that's not going to happen because of what happened
Mm-hmm.
to my mother, and she resented me and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And I think that's probably, when it gets to that point of the show, that's when you realize you're in for a bigger ride than you thought you were. Mm-hmm. And the progression of the story from there is crazy. And so by the beginning of the third season, the final season, the whole fucking thing is peeled back, and now you can see everything. And now it's just like, how do you deal with what is revealed now that you've peeled everything back?
Right.
That's so true.
And so now Toru has to, like, come to terms with her feelings and how she's letting herself, like, how she's letting herself love people may or may not be the correct way because of whatever she's feeling about her mom or family or whatever, you know.
So
and
I want to, this
such.
is actually a good segue of what you're talking about, Sam. I want to just briefly talk about, of the third season, the final, like the actual confession of Kyo and Toru. Like, Toru actually says...
You want to jump there right now?
Huh?
You want to jump there right now?
I mean, how long do we want to, like, have this episode for, Sam?
I don't know, however long you want. It's an AOQ, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I'm not doing anything.
I mean,
It's never ending.
do you want to start with Akito and Shigeru's relationship first and how fucked up that shit is?
No. I don't think we need to dive into everyone's relationship, but, like, and how every character's ending is, because, like, I think that should be appreciated on its own. But, like, I think it'd be nice to, like, touch on the climax, and then, because there's two climaxes, really. There's, like, a violent, really horrible climax, and then that aftermath climax.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when it's revealed that Kyo, so it turns out that Kyo knew Toru's mom.
Yeah. I love that scene. I love that flashback. I love the relationship between Kyoko and Kyo, like how that blossomed and everything like that.
And so I won't get into like that part, but like it turns out later, and so Kyo pretty much knows a lot about Toru, because of that, but he blocked a lot of his memory of her out because
of what happened,
of the accident that took Kyoko's life, which was a car just got out of control and hit her. I don't think they ever say what it was. I don't know if the guy was drunk or something like that or whatever the fuck it was. But a car got out of control and hit her when she was trying to walk across the street. And Kyo was right there. And Kyo could have, like, you know, grabbed her out of the way. Yeah. But his curse would have unfolded.
He was just happened. Yeah, he was scared because he even said, like, it was kind of like a slow motion kind of thing, like, oh gosh, like, I see this car coming. I know who this is. I need to do something. But like, if I grab her and I pull her into me, I'm going to transform.
Yeah, there's so much inner turmoil at that point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, you kind of have sympathy for that, but all at the same time, it's all in your head, like, as the viewer, it's like, dude, you could have just, like, grabbed her arm and, you know, like, shifted your weight away and just, like, pushed, like, moved her so that she wouldn't, like, bump into you kind of thing. Kind of like a whiplash kind of motion or something, like a whip in a way. But, you know, at least that's what I thought in my head.
I really think that scene, to Sam's point, is a really it on that event in Kyo's life is what pretty much set up the whole situation with Yuki, where he was trying to, you know, kind of suppress that memory of her mother's death and, like, turn his attention towards this rivalry with Yuki. And I think that's such an interesting transition, and in his character development, where, like, he's lived a life of trauma, but that was a really big moment that just he blocked out and then turned all his attention towards Yuki and his rivalry with Yuki.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which happens when something traumatic happens, you know, you block out.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you block
something.
it out.
Excuse me, find something to hyperfixate on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so when that happens, he tells her about it, and he says, the last thing your mom said to me is, I'll never forgive you.
Yeah.
Which, like, they reveal later that's not how she meant it. But, like,
oh, God,
he
I
runs
cried
away.
so much at that point.
He runs away, and Akito is, like, at their breaking point and ends up at Shigure's house.
Yes.
And is going to stab Toru. And Toru doesn't fucking move.
Yes.
She walks toward Akito.
Yeah, with the scissors.
Like, that is something that I think everyone, including myself, should strive to be like if they can. Maybe not in that literal sense. Obviously, if someone's got a knife or scissors, run the other way.
Right.
But, like, in terms of, like, loving somebody or trying to understand somebody, I literally don't know how else you could do it. Like,
yeah.
Toru's just like, I want to understand, like, you can tell me. You don't have to do this.
Right.
It doesn't have to be like this. And then they ran, and then Toru falls off a cliff, and it was an accident. And so Shigure and Yuki and Kyo all run back because Yuki ran after Kyo and shit. And they take her to the hospital. And then Akito is just like, without summarizing the rest of it, because I want to get to Danny's point. But there's a part where, like, Akito walks in to visit her, and Akito is, like, describing it to, like, Kyo and Yuki and Shigure, like, how it happened. And Toru's first words when Akito walks in the door are, "Oh, there you are."
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking serious, dude?
Yeah.
I fucking lost it. I cried. Because I just was like, she didn't even care. Like, she hit her head, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
She hit her
Like,
head pretty
if
hard.
they left her there, like, that is crucial. It's the same as a gunshot wound. They call it the 1 hour golden rule. If you had left her there for even probably another 30 minutes to an hour, there was no way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, like, her first words to Akito is, "Oh, there you are," while smiling.
Yeah.
Can you believe that fucking girl?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That girl, I want to be, like, I hope my heart, like, gets less and less, like, hateful as I get older. Because, like, I strive to be like that one day, honestly. But, like, it's fucking nuts. No, I'm just saying, like, I lost my shit. I was just like, that compassion and empathy was nuts. Like, you could easily just be like, man, if you weren't being such a bitch, Akito, like, I probably wouldn't have fallen off the cliff. You know, but, like, you know, like, if you weren't being such a stifling ass bitch, this wouldn't have happened. But, like, obviously, you know, whatever. But anyway, sorry, go ahead, Malika, what you were...
I think that Toro really embodies that saying of, like, to know someone is to love them. And she genuinely sees everyone as they are and still wants to, like, show that unconditional love. And, yeah, I really, like, cried during that scene, too.
I think we all did. I don't know about Earthworm, but I mean...
I would have if my sinuses weren't clogged up with ungodly amounts of stuff. I'm sure I would have, because, like, my heart dropped watching Toru fall off the cliff. Like, it was almost like it was happening to someone I knew. It was that emotionally impactful, because a lot of the times, like, when traumatic shit happens, I'm the guy who's like, you know, oh, just be stoic, be everybody's rock.
Yeah.
You're okay,
Yeah.
and then you'll deal with your stuff later. So I'm sitting there and I just got this straight face, and I'm like, no way, no, she's not dead. Of course not. No, how could she be dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole episode, I thought, oh, okay, great. Like, I'm gonna get through one episode without crying, and I mean,
Not today.
I was genuinely like dumbfounded when the cliff shattered and you just saw Toru falling and stuff. But I'm with Sam, like, you know, Toru was in the hospital and Akito went to go visit her, and when fucking Toru said, "Oh, there you are," dude, my eyes like fucking river, like waterfalls coming down my eyes. Like, I'm like, God fucking damn it, they did it again. So, yeah, no, that whole scene between Akito and Toru, you know, Toru saying, like, you know, I want to be your friend. Like, I'm not your enemy. Like, I'm not here to, like, sabotage you or anything like that. Like, I see that you're lonely and you just want, you know, you just want to have a friend and everything. Like, I can be that friend. Like, and before that whole, you know, cliff scene, like, when they're on the cliff, even Toru was all like, here, let's start over. Hi, I'm Toru. What's your name? And then, boom, the cliff shatters. And it's all like, your heart just shatters all at the same time.
When I tell you my heart was broken, I mean more broken than when my first serious girlfriend broke up with me.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like, it's just like,
Shattered. This is it.
yeah. Or, well, I broke up with her, but it still sucked. But, like, you know, whatever. Like, I wasn't dumped, I dumped her, so.
You don't know her. She goes to a different school.
She goes to a different school, yeah. But, like, that was horrible. I was like, you finally... Because the thing is this, right? The whole theme of the show is Toru touching these people and bringing them together, right? And you finally touched God, and that's what happens.
Yeah. How the irony in it.
Yeah.
And speaking of touch, like, it's amazing because, like, that's part of the curse. Is like the opposite sex can't hold any of the Zodiac members. But I love that the relationships between the characters can transcend above the earthly desire or touch. So, like, I mean, maybe this is a little too early, but like when the hugs and kisses were exchanged, it made those moments more intimate and meaningful because Toru had been like touching their lives without having to actually physically touch them.
Yeah. And that's what I meant, like, you know, especially you know, before that whole incident with the cliff and Toru falling and everything like that. Before those events, Toru ran after Kyo because she told him, like, hey, I have feelings for you and this is how I feel. And, you know, then Kyo is a butt face and is all like, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have skipped over that part, but like, yeah, after he told Toru the truth, she was like, I don't fucking care.
Right, and he's all like,
that was major.
Yeah.
That was major. She didn't give a fuck.
That was the first time she was like, no, you're going to listen to me this time, and I'm going to tell you what it is. You're not going to be your normal tsundere bitchy self. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. First of all, pretty sure my mom meant something else. I don't know exactly what that was, but I'm sure that wasn't because of what, you know, you or whatever. My mom wasn't like that. Second of all, I love you, and I want your dick in and around my mouth. That's not happening.
Toru really just showed her ferocity in that in that scene. Like, she popped off.
And then Kyo has to go and be all self-destructive, being like, yeah, you don't know what you want. You're wrong.
He reverted right back to his old ways.
What a
ran
fool.
away. Yeah. LL Fool J, crying, running away.
I did like how when they got together and talked after Toru was out of the hospital, how he admitted his faults, though. He was like, I was projecting onto you. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. It's like, wow, it seems like such a simple thing, but it's so hard to say such easy words sometimes.
Yes.
Yep.
Right. And also, just real quick, before we touch on that part in particular, the big thing was this. Kyo made a bet with Akito saying, what was it again? It was something like, because the cat has to be locked up at the age of 18.
So if I remember correctly, because
beat Yuki, right?
If he could beat Yuki, he won't get locked up.
And Akito will let him go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in the episodes leading, in like the 3 or 4 episodes leading up to this climax part, the cliff part, people's curses were breaking.
Yes.
Momiji, you like, and the way they visualized it was the rope being torn, the tether, like the rope tether, and it's like a metaphorical like scene, right? And so like people's curses were breaking, and they were crying. Like when it happened, people were they were crying over because of exhaustion and relief, and also because like it's like their heart broke a little bit. Like, oh, now I feel like I'm sad that I'm not tethered to, like in almost like in a postpartum way, not to make light of postpartum depression, but like similar to that kind of feeling. And like, so you see when they're at the hospital and they're on the roof or like in the lot, like
so when Hana and Uo met
they go to pick her up.
They went to go pick her up because she was being released. And I can't remember. I think Yuki told Kyo, like, go fucking see her. Like,
you dumb cat.
We obviously know that you have feelings for her, so go fucking see her, for crying out loud. Like, stop being a little bitch. So, and Kyo went to the hospital, and when Toru saw Kyo there, she fucking freaked out and ran away.
That
and
was
Kyo
so
was
funny
all
to
like,
me. I don't know why.
And Kyo was all like, what the hell? Like, you see me and you run away? Like, hell no. And that's when like Kyo ran after her and stuff like that. So they were kind of like in this cul-de-sac kind of area per se. So yeah, could continue some.
Yeah, so like in that area, they're all talking about their feelings and shit, and Kyo's curse breaks right there.
Yes, and
so it's not
he fucking hugs her,
and he's just like, I can do this now. I can fucking hug you now and hold you, and it's just like, okay, I have to stop because I'm about to cry. But like, it's like it's just like.
But
it's
also,
like, dude.
But also, wait, his beads break too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, the beads that keep him not in his real form, his monstrous form, break. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm crying now.
Here we go.
I'm crying.
Here we go.
It's so fucking good. It's so good. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Just that moment, you could really feel the warmth and like it's just such an intimate and sweet moment. And you feel that relief too. It's just kind of like, oh, well, here we can really start, like we can have our new beginning. Like, yeah.
I do just want to point out one thing and then we can move on to something else. But related to all the sum of members curses breaking, I believe that episode where Kyo's curse breaks, Shigure's curse also breaks, and he's walking and he stops and he goes, huh, so that's what that feels like. And then he walks away. Like,
it was so Shigure, so nonchalant.
Oh, man.
That you knew he was feeling it.
Like, see, I love Shigure. Shigure's character is great. I mean, Shigure's character was great in the Studio Dean adaptation. And then when I read the manga and I realized how much of a sleazeball Shigure is, and then to actually see that in movement and motion and everything, I really just want to pick Shigure's brain even more, because it's all like, dude, like,
what's going on in that head?
Like, yeah, like literally, what's going on in your head, dude? Like, do you love Akito? Do you not? Like, what do you want to do here? And that's kind of like what he was explaining to Kurano, because, and he even said it to Kurano, like, I hate you, dude. Like, I hate that, like, Akito keeps a close eye on you because you were the first one that their curse broke. But and like, don't get me wrong, I love Akito, but all at the same time, I want to crush her. And it's like, why? Like,
Now, I might be wrong on this, but it seemed to me like Shigure wanted to break the curse so badly so he could love Akito without being bound to her. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's
on that.
what I got.
Yeah.
No,
that's
you
what
hit that on the nail.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I believe that was definitely his motive.
I think it definitely at first started as a vindictive thing, like wow, I'm gonna hurt you because you hurt me.
Yeah.
And then realized that might have been the key to breaking everything. And when Toru kind of moved in with them, he thought right away, she is the fucking kryptonite. Because one by one, I see how she is literally touching every other Soma family member. And when she takes everyone away, it will crush Akito perfectly. And it'll get to a point where Toru will even do it to her, and then I can tell her, that's what you get. You know what I mean? Like
That's, you know what? He's such a Scorpio. Like, if Shigure was a zodiac, like an astrological sign, definitely has a big Scorpio energy exuding from that.
I see that. Yeah. I definitely see that.
Just that's very manipulative and well thought out.
It is, and he even manipulates like Toru in certain ways here and there by like, dropping little certain things, which is really funny too, because like the whole entire show, he's dropping hints about this thing he's doing, right? And you kind of wonder, is that he keeps saying things like, well, I am an asshole, so he's like, I'm no better than you. I'm a jackass. Like, it's like, and you're wondering why, because the whole time he seemed like pretty cool, and then he comes out with it, and you realize that it's this whole vindictive thing he's doing, and that halfway through he decided to use Toru in parts of it instead, and then nobody says anything. Like the fuck Hattori, the doctor.
Yes.
He like goes along with it because he's just like he has like a feeling like, oh, maybe he's right, maybe this will break the thing,
Yeah.
And also I just want to point out that I feel really bad for Shigure's editor.
Oh my god, that poor woman.
That poor woman.
She celebrates at the end when Shigure retires.
Yeah.
Such a relief.
She's like, I'm free.
And I love that she ends up with Ritsu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it's like, there's that one scene where she's like, he's like, oh, is my editor there? He's like, yeah, I think so. Oh, what does she look like? And he's like, oh, just check if she's outside. And then he goes outside and he's like, yeah, there's somebody out here putting a noose around their neck.
Oh no.
And it's not like funny to make light of suicide, but it's just like the part of the joke. Like, she just like, because those, like, so by the way, like those people who do like the editing runs, and like they're the people, like she's the editor, right? And also like the producer of his stuff. And if she doesn't get it in time, she gets in trouble.
Yeah.
So like she could lose her job. So Shigure is always like playing with her, and she's just like, fuck, dude, like, and just please, like,
That poor
I'm
woman.
literally going to jump off a bridge.
Work with me.
Yeah, like, fuck you, dude.
Take something
And so-
seriously for once, man.
What
Come
a
on.
dick!
Yeah.
What a dick move.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I think that whole thing between him and the editor is hilarious. But yeah, I think like it's weird because Toru is the one who brings everyone together, but Shigure is kind of like
The one
overseeing
who brings
it in a weird
everyone
way.
apart.
Yeah. He's trying to tear everyone apart to get back at Akito, but is doing so by letting Toru bring everyone together.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Interesting.
crazy.
Yeah.
The juxtaposition and polarization of one character to like Toru and Akito is like it makes the show, especially the third season, just spin, you know? But yeah.
It really makes me wonder if Shigure has a genuine relationship with the other members of the Soma family. Because we all know that his objective is to be with Akito, but it seems very questionable as to how genuine his relationships are with the other Somas.
I feel like the only two people he actually has like a genuine relationship with is Hattori and Ayame. At least that's how I see it. I mean, he does not, like, you can, in the third season, Shigure expresses that he does not like Kurano. So, you know, and I think like everyone else who's like younger than him, I mean, he doesn't really associate with them too much. So, I mean, anytime you see like Momiji, Kisa, or Hiro in the same room with Shigure, it's kind of like Shigure just like goes off with his playful, you know, puppy, like old man novelist type of rant.
He has a very co-worker relationship with a lot of people in the family.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
You're nice, you know, you make jokes, you have a good time, but like, do you really want to hang out with him after? Nah, we'll leave it here.
Yeah.
Do you really want to hang out?
I mean, Danny and I became best friends, and we were coworkers. But yeah, I get your point.
Yeah. Better circumstances for us than Shigure.
Yeah, I know Danny fairly well, and I just met you, Mel, but I'm assuming you're both better people than Shigure.
100%. Even though I am a Scorpio woman, but let's not.
That's okay.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to point out was Yuki finding his love.
Yeah.
Which was
That made me so
really
happy.
amazing. And,
Yes.
and actually, before we started recording, I was like kind of like rewatching the beginning episodes, and I believe it's the third episode, where you find out what happened, like the motive behind Machi's like upset, like her kind of like tick on where if she walks into a room and it's like perfectly neat, like she has to like mess it up and stuff. That whole scene, or that whole episode where Yuki is trying to understand Machi, and he realizes that they're kind of like similar in that aspect. And at the end, during the meeting and everything, with like with the brand new box of chalk, and he like breaks it to like calm her nerves and stuff before she like throws it on the ground and everything. And also, you know, Machi trying to like get Yuki's attention and everything, especially in later episodes where she like called him up and was all like, hey, I just wanted to say hello. And Yuki's all like, hey, wait, where are you? I want to meet up. And then they meet up, and that's when, and I believe Yuki was the last one for the curse to break.
He was, yeah.
So, and then the curse broke, and he realized that it broke. And without even thinking, you know, he hugged Machi. And that was just like crying again.
So satisfying.
So good.
Yeah, like, oh god.
I'm really happy you brought up the chalk scene. That was one of my favorites. It's just no words needed to be spoken. He knew what she needed to feel comfortable, and he just went ahead and did it. It's like, oh, yeah. That made my heart very warm.
Those subtle moments were amazing. Like, they were just amazing in this show. To see, like, even like the wordless moment.
This show definitely, like, it's like, so it's kind of similar to Haikyuu, where, like, in Haikyuu, when they're when they're in a tournament and stuff, and, like, Karasuno is facing, like, an unimportant team, but the story has to, like, explain the, like, passionate and motive for the other team, and it makes you like them.
Yep.
Fruits Basket does the same thing with their supporting cast.
Yeah, there are no bad characters.
There
really
are
aren't.
No bad characters
Even,
at all.
like, the vice president, I hated him when I first was introduced to him.
I love him.
But by the end,
so
I love him
much.
too. When he's teasing Yuki and Machi, being like, "Oh, so this is what adulthood's like, huh?" I love it. But at first, I couldn't stand him. I thought he was just this annoying kid, and like Fruits Basket,
He's Ayame. He's Ayame.
He kind of is, yeah. Less feminine Ayame.
Less feminine, yes, but personality is very similar.
Oh, yeah.
And even Yuki said, like, this, I'm sensing a form of deja vu, and I don't know what it is. And then it clicks, and it's like, shit, this guy is exactly like my brother. What is going on here?
I just had a thought because I know that Machi has like this aversion to perfection, but it's interesting because Yuki as a person is is perceived as a very perfect person, but I think that Machi must have had some kind of insight to recognize that he is similar to her, and that you know, there's this expectation to meet perfection, but you know, they always fall short of it because they're imperfect people. And yeah, I think that like she doesn't necessarily put him on a pedestal like the other girls of his like little fan club, but she sees him for like his shortcomings as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, like, can I also say that, like, for as many characters that are in this thing, in 64 episodes, they're able to give pretty much most of the big characters a backstory, and even some of the medium characters. But even the small characters have endings. Like the head of the Yuki fan club.
Yep.
Yeah.
They even give her, like, her own little closure.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, it's really good. Like, we can talk about, like, you know, the animation was okay and whatever. It was decent, I guess. It wasn't anything crazy. But, like, also, the art style improvement still brought elements of the original manga into it, but still updated it. So, like, it looked really nice.
They definitely... Also, when they did the 3-in-1 for the manga, they actually redesigned... they did a redesign for the manga, so they don't have, like, those weird bug eyes anymore.
Yeah.
In the manga.
But also, I think within 64 episodes, it looks like, it seems like it's a long show, right? Like, barring shonens and shit, right? But, like, as just like a romance show, it seems like that might be long, but every episode is kind of worth it because every character gets, like, a moment,
they get
a backstory, closure. It's pretty good, like, for like what you get. Like, it doesn't, I feel like it doesn't let up. Like, there's not, I mean, there are probably a few slow moments, or like what people would consider slow moments, and that's fine. I think every show that's this long has that, but this does a pretty good job of not letting that happen often.
Right.
You want all the details. Every time you fall in love with a character, which is
especially as complex as this show is, especially when it has to deal with a curse per se. Like, I'm 100% in agreement with you, Sam. Like,
and I can't speak for everybody, but like I'm in love with every character for different specific reasons, and I wanted those details. I wanted like the when it shows Uotani's backstory, and how she looked up to Toru's mom, and she's like a delinquent and stuff like that. and then I was like, well, I hope we get this with Hanajima. Literally, like,
a couple episodes
4 episodes later, like, you get Hanajima's backstory. And I was like, what? Okay, perfect. This is awesome. And it's great. It's really great. I think in 64 episodes, you get a decent sized gift.
For sure.
And there's so many intricate motions and turns and things to pull and push in this gift. And it's very detailed and very nice.
Yeah, it feels almost perfectly paced. It's never too much thick plot or too much romantic comedy. It knows when to give you the twist, and it knows when to make you laugh, when to make you cry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This whole, like I said, season 3 was a definite tearjerker. Like, not even tearjerker, like literally ugly crying from like episode 5 all the way to episode 13. Every single episode I was in tears. I'm just like, God fucking damn it. So, especially with the reveal on what was going on in Kyoko's head when she got hit by that car.
Yeah.
Oh man. And oh my God. Like when she finally had the realization, like, okay, this is it, this is the end, like, that's that. And Katsuya was all like, hello, like, I see you, welcome home, like a welcome home kind of thing. I like done right hit the floor. I was just like, I'm done. Like,
God,
please let this
that made
be
me
over.
cry.
Please let this be over. Like, but it's not over. It's not over yet.
Got a couple more tears to jerk.
Yeah.
And it just gets me because, like, none of the characters know what she was really thinking.
Yeah.
They
Well,
can
I
only
mean-
guess what she was thinking. But ultimately, she never resented Kyo. She was so upset.
That was the thing. Yeah. She was upset with herself, really, because it's all like, God damn it, like, how could I let this happen? Like, I can't leave Toru by herself. Like, I can't. And then, when she was, like, looking around to see, like, and then she finally saw Kyo's face, and she literally was saying in her head, like, please protect her. Like, I know you can keep your promise and everything. And that was that. Like, and unfortunately her last words were, I'll never forgive you. And Kyo took that the wrong way and everything. But which I'm also so excited because they're doing a side story for Kyoko and Katsuya. And I'm super stoked for that.
Like the manga or anime?
They're doing like an OVA. It's an anime project telling the story of Toru Honda's parents, Kyoko and Katsuya. So I'm assuming it's going to talk about like how they met, and I believe in the manga they do show like how Katsuya and Kyoko meets, like how they met and everything like that.
I'm so excited for that.
I don't know for certain. I can't remember. I would have to go back to the manga and read it.
I think you're right, because I was watching a recap video this morning, and the YouTuber that was talking about it mentioned that they were doing the OVA, and that it's one of the few things that they cut out of the anime from the manga.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm super stoked for that.
I am low-key hoping that the success of the 2019 version of Fruits Basket will make it so perhaps we can get an anime adaptation of Frubana, Fruits Basket Another.
Fruits Basket Another.
I really want to see that. Even though like the whole curse element is out of there, I would just love to see those relationships.
Enlighten me. I'm not aware.
So Fruits Basket, Frubana is the children of Kyo, Toru, and Yuki.
Aw.
Well, I don't. Does
and
it follow
they
that?
live-
I thought it just followed the kid of Shigure and Akito, and it follows a new girl.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
That sounds
there's
awesome.
there's no. I didn't finish it. I have the first 3 volumes. I don't know if it's.
I
This
thought it
is
was
the-
only 3 volumes.
Say it again, Sam.
I thought it was only 3 volumes.
See, here's the thing. I thought it was only 3 volumes as well, but every on Mal, on any list, it says that it's still it's still a thing. And it's still ongoing. But
Oh.
It says the final chapter was done already. March 20th, 2019 was the final chapter.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
There should only be 3.
Well, I don't know.
Did you read it?
I have all 3 volumes, but I haven't finished it. It says so on any list. It says it's on hiatus.
Oh.
So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh, I guess there is I guess there is a chapter 13. But yeah, huh. It says there's 12 chapters, but there is a chapter 13, so maybe they did imply to do more, but didn't. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. But
that 13th chapter is 60-some pages. So.
Yeah, but
a long
also
chapter.
we also get to see Momo as a teenager, and
Yeah.
Megumi Hanajima is also in this as well. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
He's
to
so
check that
funny.
out.
I think it's really cool that they focus on Akito and Shigure's son.
daughter.
Shiki.
Or daughter? Or I thought it was son.
Yeah.
No, son. This says son right here.
Oh, yeah, never mind. Sorry.
Shiki Soma, 13-year-old, yeah. Looks like his mom. Very much.
Akito.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because not once do you really see the characters from Fruit Baskets as the adults. You see their backs, but I think they're really trying to keep them out of this new story.
Yeah, because their story is done, and now it's on to this kind of new chapter in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So, also, the son of Hatsuharu and Isuzu is fucking hot.
I mean, it's half Hatsuharu.